to come to California. And there are two modalities in the fellowship program. I'll describe them in detail in a moment. And the two modalities are basically a mobility program, which is for visits of 6 months, and a graduate program. You can see those here in the title. The graduate program, which is visits for, as Danielle said, for graduate studies, meaning masters, PhDs. So tell you a little bit of the history of the program. It was created by Pete Balsells, who was a Catalan entrepreneur and philanthropist who came to the U.S. When he was 18 years old in 1947. He went to the University of Colorado in Boulder. He got a degree there in mechanical engineering, and then started a company called Balsells Engineering with his wife. And in 1996, he created this program, the Balsells Fellowship Program, which has undergone a few transitions, changing of participants and so on. But nowadays, it still exists at UC Irvine. And Pete was recognized by many honors, both in Catalonia and in the US. And unfortunately, he died very recently. He died a couple of months ago here in California at the age of 94. So he actually had a very long and successful life. Okay, so tell you what the opportunities are in more detail, and I'll try to go through the presentation fairly quickly. I will send the presentation to you, Danielle, so that if any student wants to look at it later, you can distribute it there. But there are essentially two opportunities. As I said, there is a mobility program and there is a graduate studies program. And there are two schools here in Irvine that participate in this program. One is my school, the School of Engineering. We're called the Samueli School of Engineering. And the other school is the School of Information and Computer Sciences. And so the mobility program, as I said, is for 6 months visits. And those are basically for two purposes typically. It's either students who are pursuing the bachelor's degree there and want to come here for 6 months to do the thesis or the project for the bachelor's degree. And the other possibility is students who are doing the master's there and want to come here to do the master's thesis. Now, when we select students to come on the mobility program, one of the things that we look into is the interest of the student in staying for the graduate program, for the second opportunity. So, we prefer students who are willing to come back after they finish the mobility program to do to pursue a graduate degree here. Which brings me to the second opportunity. Is very simple, is students who want to do the master's. As Danielle said, many students from Terraza are interested in the double degree, so they can usually start the master's there and then come here to do our master's. And then when they finish the master's degree, you go back and your school there, Terraza, recognizes our master's, and then you get a double master's. But then, of course, we're also interested in a PhD, students who are interested in the PhD degree. The reason for that is that, we're a very large research university, and for us, the most important students are the PhD students. So we mainly focus on trying to bring students who want to eventually get a PhD. That's the reason the PhD degree is underlined here. As I said, the program is actually 26 years old. We bring students from all Catalan universities that have engineering or a related field. And here you see the numbers since we started in 1996. Most of the students have come here for the graduate program. We used to have a component that was for postdoctoral fellowships. We're not doing that nowadays. And then the mobility fellows that I mentioned earlier. You probably know where we are, but just in case, this is California right here, and this red dot is the location of Irvine. We are about an hour south of Los Angeles and about an hour and a half north of San Diego. We're on the coast. Irvine itself is not on the coast, but it's only about 10 minutes away from the coast. It's a very large population center in Southern California. The city itself has about 270,000 people, but it's in the region called Orange County, which is over 3 million uh, in population. And as I said, it's about an hour south of Los Angeles. There are many high tech companies here. And of course, as I said, we're very close to the beach, but we're also very close to the mountains. So it's about an hour away to get to the mountains in the winter. There is snow, and many centers where you can watch arts performances or other entertainment performances. Our university itself is a fairly large campus. It's part of the University of California system. The University of California system has 10 campuses. You're probably familiar with the oldest one, which is Berkeley, was the original campus of the University of California. There's also UCLA, which was the second campus of the University of California. Irvine was a campus that was started in 1965, and nowadays it has about 37,000 students, and it has all the disciplines of study, from engineering, of course, which is the one that we're talking about here, but it also has all the physical sciences, biological sciences, medicine, law, humanities, and so on. In the most recent ranking of U.S. News and World Report, our campus was ranked eighth in the U.S. among public universities. So it's a very highly ranked campus. We've had three Nobel Prizes, two in chemistry, one in physics, and many research centers. So when a student comes here to do, for example, as a mobility student or as a master's or PhD student, they come to a department, but these departments are affiliated with many centers. So this is just to give you an idea of some of the research centers and institutes that are affiliated with engineering. There are programs in energy, programs in manufacturing, programs in nanosystems, medical technology, telecommunications, embedded systems, materials research institute, water resources, design and manufacturing, fuel cell, which is obviously also part of the energy program, combustion, water, energy, transportation. So these are some of the centers that our faculty are affiliated with. As I said, there are two schools participating. So the other school is, I'll talk about this one first, is the School of Information and Computer Sciences. Um, it's, uh, it's a large school. It has about 33 undergraduate students, about 800 graduate students, and it has three departments. It has computer sciences, it has informatics, and it has statistics. And among the programs that they have for visiting students or graduate students are computer sciences, software engineering, informatics, network systems, statistics, data science, embedded and cyber-physical systems, and human-computer interaction and design. The other school, as I mentioned, is the School of Engineering. This is the school that I belong to. Has six departments, and they all participate in this program. We have a biomedical engineering department, a chemical and biomolecular engineering department, civil and environmental engineering, electrical engineering and computer science, material science and engineering, and mechanical and aerospace engineering. As Danielle said at the beginning, I wear many hats. One hat is this director of this fellowship program, but I'm also chair of this department, of the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, and of course, I'm a professor in the same department. And for that reason, I bring this slide, which is about my department, Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, also because many of the students who come here from Terraza come to this department, come to Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. So I wanted to show you a slide. This is actually from our website. You can find us easily if you go to this website. Or if you simply Google Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering UC Irvine, you can find us. And so we have these areas. We have dynamics and controls, and you can see the different subsystems within that area: fluid dynamics and propulsion, thermal and transport sciences, mechanics of materials, and systems and design. So we pretty much cover every aspect involved in mechanical and aerospace engineering. All right, so let's get into the details. As you know, there are two programs. One is the mobility program. I already explained that this is for undergraduates or master students who are coming here to do the final project of the bachelor's degree or the master's thesis. And they come for what is one semester for you, but it's essentially almost 2 quarters for us. The University of California at Irvine is on what we call a quarter system as opposed to a semester system. So we have the year is divided into 4 quarters, 4 periods, and they last about 11 weeks each. So when the students come under the mobility program, they come for 6 months. And so they typically would come in September, which is like the first semester there, or they come in February, which is your second semester. So what we do is we provide funding. So for a visit of 6 months, we provide $7,200. Nowadays, I guess the conversion is very easy, right? Because it's almost 1-to-1. So this is essentially about 7,200 euros. You actually probably need a little bit more. So when you apply for this program and you are admitted, uh, the U.S. government requires that you show that you have additional support. Most of the time, this is just personal or family additional funding. Um, but the 7,200 divided over 6 months really covers almost all of your expenses. So we normally provide 3 to 5 positions in a year. And as I said earlier, and I put it here in red, when we evaluate applicants for the mobility program, we give preference to those who indicate an interest, a legitimate interest in coming back as graduate students. If you want to apply for this program, as I said, you should be interested in not just the mobility program, but beyond. We look for students that have strong records. And when people ask me what that means, it typically means that you have about at least a 7 average in the scale of 10. But there are other indicators of academic performance. And the application process is actually very simple. It's just one step where you send these documents, a letter of interest, a CV, your grades, everything in English, and you send them to this address. And if you're not sure about, if you're missing or you don't understand something, you can always write to us. We have an email address that is very easy to remember. It's balsells@uci.edu. The second part is the graduate program. This is obviously a more important aspect of the Balsells Fellowship. We now provide support that is completely sufficient for all your expenses. It's actually a little bit more nowadays. It's more than $2,500 per month. Probably around $2,600 or $2,700 per year. I'm sorry, per month now, because we had kind of adjusted for inflation, and inflation, as you know, is high. The most expensive part of the program is the tuition, the fees, and the health insurance, but that's all covered by the program. So if you look at the total value of what one of these fellowships is worth, it's a lot of money. It's about $65,000 per year, including everything. And when we provide you with one, we typically make it available for 2 years. Uh, then beyond that, uh, the students who are here for the PhD, uh, become supported by either research programs or becoming teaching assistants. So there is never a gap in funding for a student who comes here. We always, pull different resources to provide funding. And we typically provide between 5 and 7 fellowships. It really varies. For example, this last year we brought in 9, so it's a little bit more than this number. But all right. Now, I assume everyone in the meeting is qualified. If you're a Spanish citizen who reside in Catalonia and speak English, Catalan, and Spanish, and graduate from a Catalan university, then you are qualified to apply for the program. All right. So now the application process is a little bit more complicated. It may seem a little overwhelming at the beginning, the first time you look at it, but you just do one step at a time. The things that we need are your transcripts again. In other words, your grades in your courses there. Um, every department used to require GRE scores. Now there is a trend in the U.S. Not to require GRE scores anymore, and only maybe a couple of the departments in engineering still require GRE scores. Our department, my department, for example, mechanical and aerospace engineering, no longer requires the GRE. So that removes one step, of the process. We do require English course because you're coming from a non-English speaking country. So there are two exams, either the TOEFL or the IELTS, and we do need those. The university does require those scores. Uh, Letters of recommendation, and these are very important. These are written by your professors, and they describe your potential, to do research independently. Um, not just how you did in the courses in the classes that you took, but what your potential is to become a good researcher. And then the part that you have to do yourself is very important. Is this so-called statement of purpose, which is essentially a letter that you write as part of the application process, where you describe uh, your goals. Why do you want to go to graduate school? What do you want to do after uh, you finish your graduate school? Why are you choosing us? What is it that is a good match between you and us, for us to bring you here? And some people actually can add a little bit of personal history, that how you became an engineering student. In terms of the timeline, there are different timelines depending on where you are in your academic studies. So let's say, for example, that you are now in your last year, in your fourth year of the degree, or in the last year, in the second year of your master's, and you want to apply for our program. Uh, since you're finishing either the bachelor's degree or the master's degree, then you wouldn't apply for mobility. You would be applying directly to the graduate program. So we're here in the presentation. Then you take the TOEFL and or the IELTS in December. If required, you take the GRE, but as I said, check the department you're applying to see if they require the GRE. You typically would take those exams in December and then submit your application. So this is an important deadline, and it varies. It's not a unique deadline. Each department has a different deadline. Some of them have this deadlines as early as December, some in January. Once your application is reviewed, then around March, you are informed if you have been admitted. And then like 1 or 2 months after that, uh, we tell you. It used to be that you had to apply separately for the Balsells Fellowship, but you don't have to do that anymore. Once we review your application and you're admitted, if you are selected for Balsells funding, then we'd let you know around May so that you have time to get all your documents for arrival, your visa and other documents. And our fall quarter starts in late September. So typically the students arrive in the middle of September. Now, the second timeline is if you are not in the fourth year, but you are in the third year of your bachelor's, or you are in the first year of your master's. So now, of course, in this case, you could apply for mobility, um, although, of course, you could also apply for the graduate degree if you want to do the double master's. So again, the presentation is here. If you want to come for mobility, you would apply in February of next year. And then, as I said earlier, you can start mobility in the fall of 23 or in the spring of 24 if you apply, by February of 2023. Um, then, of course, everything else is the same, but I have put it here 1 year behind because this is assuming that you first do mobility and then do the graduate application. And so um, everything is the same, all the deadlines, but it's just 1 year later. Uh, all right, so this is just information and websites for different things. If you have to take the GRE, there is a link here to the website, TOEFL, IELTS. There is a website from UCI where you go to apply, to formally apply for admission. And this is it. So I'm going to leave this slide up. It has our email, our website, and as I said, I went fairly quickly because I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions. So I'm here ready to answer any questions that come up.
Thank you very much, Roger. What I will do is I will stop recording so that only the presentation and then this more interactive part I will keep out of the recording. Uh-huh.
And I know it always people sometimes are a little bit shy to ask